Hello everyone and welcome to this tutorial. This tutorial I will be explaining how to install and host your own dedicated website using either HTML or WordPress. And I will show you step by step how to do it on a freshly resetted or freshly installed Windows 10 PC. Now keep in mind this tutorial can also be used for Windows 7, Windows 8, 8.1, Windows 8, and so on and so on. This can also be used for Windows Server 2000 series like 2012, 2016, 2019, and so on. The process should roughly be similar. Now keep in mind, all of this will be done on a 64-bit server installation or a 64-bit version of the operating system, and all the files that will be available for download in the install package, which I will talk about in a little bit, will be available in the video description, all 64-bit. So I will also show you how which problems you may run into and how to solve them step by step, and what you will need to do in order to fix them. Now, as you can see on the screen, it is installing Windows. Everything's being resetted. So we have a fresh install. So everybody can follow step by step what you need to do and how to solve some of the issues. Because I can guarantee you most installations or most things that people do, like tutorials, is like, hey, but I did exactly what the video said, but I'm having errors or it's not doing as it's supposed to do. So I will be covering that as well. Just give me a second to do this. And as you can see, this will be a freshly installed Windows. Now, if you don't want to see all of this yabbering stuff, you can skip it. I will put the timestamps down below in the video description. And we go from there. I will also provide you with a link for the download installation pack, which we require later. As I said before, this will all be 64-bit. So yeah, other than that, we are going to do the installation of IIS. We are going to install WordPress and set up our dedicated locations for our websites on a separate drive. Now, this will be an offline account to make it simple for this tutorial purposes. We call this server and no password because it's local anyway. So there's a couple of things that we basically need for all of this to run. First of all, you will require a static IP address, or you may run into problems in the future. You will also need a dedicated computer or server because you don't want your website to go offline when you're playing games or that kind of stuff and it crashes. So you want a dedicated PC to do all of this stuff for you. Then we need a stable internet connection. Then you need to have the installation pack, which the link will be down below. A domain name, which you can get with any provider that provides it. Then you need to have access to your router in order to open up the ports. We will acquire a couple of ports. Port 80 is one of them. And then we also have a couple of other ports, which we'll probably get in later, or you can Google them in the meantime. Now, I am a little bit sick, so I am wrapped in a blanket. So if you see like a blanket, you know why. So yeah, that's basically all the things that we need. And I'm going to show you step by step how to host your dedicated website using either HTML or WordPress, which is something that most people use on a dedicated server without any third-party assistance, such as, I need to register onto this website and I have to pay per month or an X amount in order to host my website. No, this will be completely standalone, hosted by yourself. So as you can see, we have a freshly installed Windows. So let's get started. I will put the timestamps in the video description. So let's begin. First, I am going to untick all of these things on the bar to make it easier for the later installation, and I will remove them later with a different program which will not be in this video. This video I will teach you how to set things up and how to get you started, and on which errors you might run into, and so on and so on. So first I'm going to add a control panel to my start menu by pinning it to the start. There it is. Now, large icons. Now, before I do anything else, I also want the icons on my desktop, which will be done here. Excuse me. So we go to themes, scroll down, desktop icon settings, and tick those two boxes, and then your icons will be there. You could add more or less depending on what you prefer. Now, I like my colors to be dark because white is too bright for me. So I'm going to turn it to dark. Down back to control panel. We need to scroll down to program and features. I'm going to uninstall this one because personally I'm not using it. Keep in mind, if you do anything different in this video, you might run into other or more errors later on. So keep that in mind, and I will try to go over as many as I can. If I missed one, my apologies. I'm still having some issues with it myself. So we're gonna install Internet Information Services. Now I'm gonna extend it, and I'm gonna take everything that is in this particular list. But that's my personal preference. Because later on I will be hosting a lot more. There we go. Now everything is ticked. Except for the FTP server, because I will use a different protocol for that one. So we're going to click OK. And it will install and download all the features that we require. Now, I also need to change the IP address because I got the ports dedicated to this IP address. So I'm going to do that next. Well, this is installing. And show available networks. Nope. I'm going to put this to private, back, change network adapters. Now here we're going to open it. I'm going to disable IPv6 and I'm going to alter IPv4 to manual. Now I need to keep numlock enabled. We're going to change this. Now this is your local IP address, and I will put it in such a way that it will not change during this whole process, or if you update or unplug it and replug it, it should always be back to this number, which is very important if you're hosting. So I'm going to put it in manually. This can be roughly the last number can be whatever you want. So in this case, it will be 192.168.2.3. The second one should be filled in automatically. Now keep in mind this might be different for you, but for me it is 192.168.2.254, and this one is 192.168.2.254, and this one is 192.168.2.3. Then we click on OK, and then we can close this. And then if we click on status, we will see that IPv6 is now disabled, internet connection enabled, and now you will see that our IP address is now changed to that number. So we can close this. Now we can go to this. This is now finished. I'm going to close it. And now we can continue with the rest. Now, as I said, the installation pack will be available in the video description. And this will be all in 64-bit, sorry. So we're going to open it, and this is the first thing that we're going to need. So we're going to install this. Now, normally, this will install everything for you, but I know this is going to have some issues. That's why I included these two, which I will show you later, because if all goes well, it will install everything for you. If it not goes well, I'll have those two files for you as well. So now I'm going to add IIS to my bar, pin to start. And I also want to add platform installer to the bar. So now we have these three. Now we're going to open this one up. Now we're going to extend it and add a new website. This will be our new website, www.mdfixit.nl. This could be any name you want. It's just to sort out which one is what. I just keep it the same as the domain name. And then we go to the path where you want the website to be installed and stored. So in this case, we're going to do it on the new web. And there we go. And I already have a file in there, which I will show you here. New web. And that's our HTML, and it will look like this. Now keep in mind the background will not load because of issues. Don't worry about it. It's just a simple HTML that I slammed together for this demo purposes as well. And I'm also going to use this for my personal stuff. But the background will not load. So it will be a complete white with a black banner thingy or black bar around it. And this is the text that you will see. I will also show you how it looks as a notepad. Open with notepad. And this is literally how the HTML looks. Very simple. Well, not super simple, but simple enough. So it's nothing special. But that's the file that we're going to host. So if I go to the website right now, it will not show up. Just give me a second. So as you can see, this is the default website because our domain name is already being forwarded to this particular site. And this is just the thingy that is being standardly hosted, which will be this one. But we're going to add this one, which will be redirecting to a specific name. So this is our domain name. It goes over port 80, and that's the port that we need to open up in our modem. Now, I'm not going to show you this process because every modem is different. Google your providers or check your modem how to do it, because as I said, this is like different for every single person, for each individual internet provider. So you need to log into your modem and forward port 80 to this particular IP address that we set it up for our server. So now we added this, we click OK, and now our website will be added. So now once we open up our page and refresh it, it should automatically go to our new page because we dedicated to that name. It will now load our page. And as I said, the background will not load due to some issues in my bad script or bad HTML text. So that's why you don't see the background. But anyway, our site is now up and running, which is a simple HTML. Now, of course, we want WordPress because it's more advanced and so on. I will show you that process as well. But at least our site is now available for the world to see, which ends this part of the tutorial. So now we're going to install WordPress. And as I said before, normally it will install automatically. if you follow this process. However, I know for a fact that it will definitely have some issues with this particular system. So that's why I included these two, which we'll be getting later. So first I'm going to show you what issues you might run into, and I will show you how you could probably fix them. Now keep in mind, this process may also reveal some other errors, and I'm going to try to show you what you can do in order to fix them. So first we're going to use our web platform installer, and we're going to type in WordPress. This is basically straightforward. And as I said, I know it's going to run into some issues. Now here, it's going to need MySQL, which is currently not installed, so we need to set up a password for it. So in this case, you will also require to open these ports. You can Google it, what the ports are for MySQL, and you will need to open it up as well. Out of my head, the default port is 3306 out of my head. But first we're going to add our password. Now the longer the better. This can be anything that you want, as long as you don't forget it. Now we click on, we can either accept this box or not. Then we click next. It will download everything that it needs, that it will try to install, but I know almost for a fact that it will probably have some issues, which I will show you what the issues may be, or this process that you might run into. And this is one of them, that it just randomly shuts down and just crashes. So what you can do in this case is you can try to reinstall the platform, but there are also these two that you may have issues with. So we can also try to go to the normal one without using IIS. And we're going to try it from here. So WordPress, add. If you still have the same issue, then we're going to try some other things. And as you see, it will install a lot more. And even here, I expect some issues. So we're just going to wait until this finishes. If all goes well, it should prompt you with another window in the config window, or it will crash like this. So here, we're going to try to connect. Now, if you cannot connect, it may have some other issues. As you can see now, that is unable to connect. This can be many, many things, and it's quite annoying to solve. So in this case, we cannot continue, but as you can also notice, it failed to install a couple of things. So as you can see, it failed to install MySQL Server 2012, yada 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 stuff. You can literally see what the problem is. This is just one out of many, many, many errors that you can run into, and you basically will not be able to install WordPress. So that's why I included these two, which you will need to install manually, and hopefully this will solve a lot of the issues. Now you may need to reinstall MySQL. That's a possibility due to the failed installation. So that's the first one. Now we're going to do the second one. This should solve one of the issues. And then we're going to try again. So again, WordPress, and we're going to try to reinstall it. If it still fails, we need to delete MySQL and try to redo it. And we're still having the error. So in this case, we're going to remove MySQL and try it again. and we also require a restart for it. So we can either look at control panel and then look in this list if you can see MySQL. There it is. These two, we're going to uninstall them and try it again. Let's see, anything else in this list? Nope. Now, once those are removed, we're also going to remove them from the program files itself, which will be here. Then we're going to make sure that it's not here. Doesn't look like it, except for this one. Let's have a look. That should be the other one. Let's see. That should be all okay. Now we're going to restart and try again. And I will pause the video to save some time. And welcome back. So now we freshly restarted it. Now we're going to see if we can actually start installing it. So we're just going to try it again and keep trying until it works. Simple, straightforward. But at least now we got our other stuff installed. So only thing is missing is MySQL and WordPress. Now it still remembered the password that we typed in, but you can see it's not installed. So hopefully this time it will not give us any errors. As I said, you will require to open the ports or you might run into some more issues later. So as you can see, we are now in our configured screen. Now I would recommend changing these keys manually to whatever you want, but make sure you remember all of them. Now for this demo purposes, I'm just going to continue. And it will do the rest. Now keep in mind, all of this is something you need to keep saving. So copy to clipboard, then make a new file, text document, and name it like MySQL data info or something like that. Then open it up and then paste it. And that's the name of your database and so on and so on, and the passwords. Now, like I said, I will wipe this again after this demo. This is just demo purposes, but you should get this screen and then just save it. Now, after this is finished, then you are basically ready to set up the rest. So let's continue. Now we do have some other errors popping up, such as like, hey, where do I need to go? So it's just another thing. But at least we can install WordPress now. So now I'm going to switch to the other thing. So now we're going back to IIS, because that's where the original where we want to install our stuff. Because we want WordPress on our site. But at least now we have fixed the issues with the database. Now this will probably create a new database. So I will censor some bits here and there. So here we're going to install WordPress. We're going to add it, and that will be for our website alone. And you can follow this process as well from the start or whatnot. So here we get our config installation because we already set it up our database. Now we want our site to be that one. and we're gonna use it on a WordPress itself, and then we're just gonna continue. Now, as I said, same thing here. You set up the keys for this demo. I'm just gonna leave it as it is. Continue, and it will install WordPress for us, and it will automatically load up the prompt. Now, you may have some permission issues that it cannot access the files due to the permissions. If that happens, I will show you a couple of ways how you can solve that. So we just have to wait until it's finished, but at least we fixed our database. And this database will keep everything that you have intact. Now we get a new database, as you can see here. Same thing, copy to clipboard, because this will be your actual website. Then continue, and it looks like we have some issues now. Failed to start, okay, can happen. We're just gonna add this. And keep in mind, because we're running on a different hard drive, it may not have access to it. So we're just going to save that as well. But WordPress should be installed. There we have our WordPress. We're going to open it up. And hopefully it will load. There we go. It loaded. So now we can continue. Site name. Then username. For demo purposes. Now, password. I'm just going to make something real simple. Hold on. Demo purposes. Confirm weak password. Now, email address, and so on and so on. Not gonna input it. I don't know if I actually need to. And then install WordPress. Okay, I do have to get my email in there. That's for demo purposes. I'm just gonna close the screen for a second. Actually, I'm gonna pause it, and I'll come back once I click install WordPress, and I will show you the rest. Okay, welcome back. Now we have our username and password. Now we can actually log in. At least it should bring us to our login screen. Now this will take some time. Try to refresh if it doesn't load immediately. Now we're gonna log in. 12 and our password. Log in. And now we are at our site, simple WordPress. And that's it, what you can see here. That's just the basic default install, nothing special. And now if we switch to our other accounts, this will also load. Now, because we want our specific location, I am going to make some changes. And like I said, for demo purposes, we're going to change a lot of things. I'm going to general settings. Now here, if you want to move your WordPress to a different folder, you can do that. So in this case, I want to move my WordPress to folder number 3, for an example. Then we're just going to do it this way. Whatever you want. Email confirm. This is just the email that I just typed in for demo purposes. And yeah, that's basically all you need. Now you can set up your time. Now in this case, this will be +2 for me. And then I want this format, and it is in, no, the time is not correct. Why is the time not correct? Because it is not that time. Let's just keep going until the time is correct. Actually, I know it's +2. It should be +2. And it is, what day is it? It's Tuesday. But that's the start of the week. We're just going to save the changes. Now keep in mind, because we changed it earlier, it will definitely say cannot find this directory, which is normal because we just made it to a different file. So now we're going to go to that location, new web, and then MG web. We see WordPress here, but we changed it to folder number 3. So just going to rename this to folder number 3, because that's what we choose to do, and this might be an issue. So we are going to stop all services for this. So we're going to stop and try again. It should do it. If not, then we just create a new folder and we call this free. And we're going to enter the folder, and we're just going to copy everything and paste it in this folder. And now we're going to start the services again and restart. And now we can go back to our previous screen, reload, and it should automatically be in the correct folder. As you can see, we do need to log back in again. 12, 1, 2, 3, log in. Okay, did I type it wrong? Okay, apparently I can't log in anymore. Am I using the right mouse? Yes, I am. Refresh. Because I don't think I changed my password. Now, in theory, it should log in. And for some reason, I can't enter anymore. Okay. Weird. And I'm constantly using the wrong mouse. Let's move that one. And then we're going to stop all the services, restart, and refresh. Try again. I may accidentally change my password, but I doubt it. Okay, then let's try this. Remove all of this. Go back to the main. Then free. That's the WordPress. And now we're going to type WP Stripe. Admin. And that should bring us to the login screen. Just going to try it again. 12. And we're back in. So that's basically how you do it. Settings. So now, as you can see, the time should be correct. As you can see here, the time is now correct. And that's how you can change your WordPress. You can also change some other stuff in here, but I wouldn't play around with this too much. So yeah, that's basically how you set up your WordPress, including if you have some errors and problems, what you can do to solve them. As you saw, if you ran into some issues that you know what to do or what you can do in order to resolve them. That's just one part of it. Now there are some tutorials out there how to like increase the upload file size and so on and so on. I am not going to explain that in this video because I'm still trying to learn that myself, but at least hopefully this video was helpful. As I said, we can add another site here, add website. This one will be humanology.net. We're going to select a specific path, which would be here. New web, Gaminology, okay. Hostname. Oh. .net. Also over port 80. You can leave anything else. Then okay. And now the site has been added, and if you click here, the site should load that same HTML because we set it up that way. Now, installing WordPress, go down, install. And that will also create a new database and so on and so on. So in this case, WordPress, type it again, add, install, agree, and it will install the rest, and it will do the same process. It will ask you for this new site, the Gaminology, because we already added it. Select it, continue, fill in the keys, make sure you remember them for actual encryptment. For this demo, we're just gonna leave them as they are. And as I said before, I will wipe everything again and then do it properly off camera. For demo purposes, I'm just gonna do it like this. Now this will take some time, unfortunately. There we get a new database. Gonna copy the clipboard, open our text notes, and then we're gonna call this Gaminology, and then post everything there, because as you can see, it will have a different database and so on and so on, so it won't collide with any others. Then we're gonna save it, and then we're gonna finish. Now, as you can see, it will have trouble opening up, failed to start, can happen, don't worry about it. We can go here and then click on this little thing here, and then it should open it up. If we type WordPress in here, hold on, give me a second. First, I'm gonna refresh WordPress. We click on WordPress and then we click on here. That should open that application right here. As you can see, WordPress, and now we can continue with the installation. Same thing, title website. And keep in mind, this has its own domain name. Oh. .net, username. Now for demo purposes, I'm just going to use the exact same name, and I'm going to use the exact same password. As I said, I will reset this, so don't worry about it. Email address, I'm going to use the same one as the previous one. There we go. And then install WordPress. And it will do the process. There we go. It's now installed. Click on login. One, two, three. Login. Don't need to save it. And now we have another WordPress installed. So as you can see here, we now have our WordPress up and running. And we can like customize it and do whatever. If you want this WordPress to be named something else, you can also completely remove it, which I will show you how to do that. We go to settings, general, and we are going to remove WordPress entirely. And the slash, same here. And this is +2 for me. This might be different for you. I want to use this time format. No, wait, this one. And this will be automatically changed. We're going to save it. It will kick us out because it will not be able to load the files because we changed the directory. So we get this error. So we're going to close it. Then we're going to stop this server. Then we go to the documents where we installed our web, which will be here, Demonology. Now it will have an index file, so I'm just going to rename it to index2, so it won't load that index. Then we're going to copy everything in this list using Control A and copy. The reason why I'm copying this is because if something happens, you can always go back to that other WordPress. And now if we start the server again, restart it, then close this, go back to our page, try to reload it. If it doesn't want to reload, try to go everything back. And now we're going to type in our username again, our password. Now this should log you in. If it doesn't log in, remove everything and try again. As you can see, it will not let me log in. So in that case, we're going to remove everything. Do that. And then actually, this should officially be changed to the other one. There we go. Now it's refreshed. Now this is our normal WordPress, which you can see, which will be under this domain name. Now we want to log in, so we're going to type WP Stripe admin. And that should bring you back to the login screen. And now it should accept your account. And there we go. We are now back in. We can make changes. Now this should change, but it's still like stuck in the cache. So it might not show the correct one, or it still has like problems because I'm using the HTML. As you can see, if I refresh it a couple of times, it'll go back to the WordPress. It's because it's still stuck inside of the cache. So that's why it's loading. But as you can see, it loads the WordPress, and we have our control menu on top. And we can customize it, and you can see that we are logged in. And that's basically how you do it. And you can add pages, media, and so on and so on. So that's basically it. Your WordPress is now operational and you're ready to do stuff. And as I said, this is a separate website. So now we have in total 3 websites up and running in theory, but we only have like 2 really we're using. So we're just going to remove this one. And this should all be running as it should be. So because I'm still using the HTML, that's why it's showing this. But if I use, There we go. It should bring me back to the WordPress because that's the way how we set this one up. With the Gamenology one, it's a little bit more simpler. I'm going to refresh. And it should automatically bring us to the WordPress. There you go. That's it. That's all there is to it. So I hope this video was helpful. I will, like I said before, once everything is up and running, I will include this installation pack, which contains the 64-bit web platform installer and the two MySQL services that you will also require, which I showed you earlier in the video. This will all be 64-bit, so keep that in mind. I will put a download link in the video description once everything is up and running. So keep an eye out for that. I hope this video was useful to you guys. And now I am going to reset everything because now technically everything is up and running. But like I said before, because this is a demo video and tutorial to show you how everything is set up, I am going to reset everything, and we're not going to keep everything. So remove everything. And that's basically it. So thank you guys for watching. I hope this tutorial was useful to everyone. If you run into some more errors, you can try to leave a comment. I will try to help you out. But unfortunately, if you run into some errors that I haven't encountered yet, then I will not be able to help you. Keep in mind, as I said before, you will require to open your ports. You need a static IP address, you need a domain name, and it has to be running on 64-bit. It could run on 32-bit, but you will have to download the files individually and on your own, which I will not be providing. So there you go. As you can see, I will be resetting and wiping this computer with all the MySQL databases, because as I said before, this is a demo video or tutorial. So thanks again for watching. I hope this was helpful. Feel free to subscribe either to my channel or to the Gamenology channel. I will put those links down below as well. And yeah, have a nice day, and good luck and have fun.